And then we can then look at the consideration of the apologies that have been received. If the Secretariat can help us with that. Do we have any apologies?
Good morning, Chair. I have two apologies. The one from Mr. Nyampi and Ms. Lapuskachny. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those are the two apologies from the honorable members. There is another person who, Honorable Arnold.
Yes, good morning, Chairperson. There is an apology also from Member Makause, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Arnold. That apology is recorded accordingly. I would want to believe that we have received an apology from the Minister.
Recording in progress.
The Deputy Minister will address that. We only have two items on the agenda, honorable members, today. We are going to be receiving a briefing from the department, and that briefing obviously will be led by the Honorable Deputy Minister. And then the Deputy Minister will also help us by introducing the team that is accompanying him to this meeting. Deputy Minister, the briefing by the Department of Enterprises today in assisting with the conclusion or post-settlement process between Safcol and the successful land claimants is what is expected to be heard by the members today. That's the first item on our agenda. The second item on the agenda will be the consideration of the minutes of the previous meeting that was held. Let me take this opportunity, Deputy Minister, to invite you and welcome you in this meeting. And we are grateful to have you. And as we always emphasize that the ministry must always be in the front line when it comes to the issues that are related to the interaction with the committee, as the committee has a responsibility to exercise oversight. And I'm happy that consecutively you've been making this appearance here and ensuring that we are in tandem in terms of aligning our thinking and the processes that are expected by our communities out there. I therefore want to give you the platform to take us through. Over to you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of the committee. Greetings to you and greetings to the honorable members of the Select Committee. I may just confirm what you asked me to do, Chair, an apology for the Minister who has a cabinet commitment and therefore couldn't be with us today. I would also, Chair, in the same vein, just communicate a predicament I have. I may not be with the committee until longer. I have 11 o'clock engagement to do with a bereavement of a colleague that I'm attending to today in Mpumalanga. Having said that, Chair, I also would like to indicate to you we have from the department a delegation that is ready to make a presentation, but also we have a full delegation from the entity for which the issue of forestry and claims is really resident at. The chair of the board of Safcol and some board members are present here with their executive team. And Chair, we would take guidance as to which way you would want us to proceed. The department has prepared a presentation. So is the entity Safcol. There is a presentation that is prepared, and I'm hoping that both had been shared with the committee. Just at a high level, Chair, with you making guidance on the matter, I'd like to say that we take the issue of land claims very seriously because of its impact, if not well attended to the whole viability of the entity Safcol into the future. We have sought to create a good relationship with the departments affected, including the claimants, wherever such claims have been resolved, that there must be a sense of how the enterprise in terms of the forestry as we have continues without it being interrupted, but clearly factoring in those whose claim has been awarded as part of the entity going forward, part of the owners going forward. It's a matter that we have sought to create a mechanism that would facilitate that. The presentations, all of them will indicate that in detail. And having said that, Chair, may I then perhaps with your guidance, I may invite Kinelwe from the department who can speak to our presentation, or alternatively, even the board has, through its executive team, prepared input for the committee.
No, thank you very much, DM. I think it goes without saying that the executive authority takes the prime spot of initiating the process, and therefore we will give the department the first right of presentation.
Thank you very much, Chair. Can I proceed with the presentation? And Chair, I have also, perhaps if I may, I've indicated that the Chair of the board, Mr. Paul Makwena, is here together with his board members. Perhaps when they have the chance to speak, he will be afforded the time to introduce the team in terms of their board that is here. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, just DM, we hear that you will be rushing off to see the family of the colleague. So I just wanted to to say, no, we accept your apology and we do want to release you to attend to that. Perhaps you will then assign someone at the point wherein there would be a need to conclude, whether it's a DG or a DDG, to actually take that spot when the presentation is done. But condolences to you as well as the family that is affected.
Thank you, Chair.
Kideilwe, the floor is yours.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members. Good morning, GM, and good morning, colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity to come and present the Safcol status. If I may kindly ask Chair, the Secretary to share the presentation for me.
You can share it on your side. I have given, okay.
Thank you very much, Lebo. Just to give a background on the Safcol land claims, there's land claims under Safcol as the land is under the lease with the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. They are being managed by the department via the collaboration with the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land Reform. However, there hasn't been any post-settlement that has been entered into, which is what the committee has asked the department to come and present on. So we'll be giving the status of the land claims as it is to date and what the company has been doing together with the Safcol and the other stakeholders that I've mentioned earlier. Safcol, slide one level. Safcol plantations are located in Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and KZN. The process of the land restitution started was concluded in 1998, where Safcol was affected. And when the verification process was concluded by the company in 2008, the study revealed that Safcol's operational land has been affected at about 61% of its plantations. Later in the years, end of 2021 financial year, Safcol recorded reviewed 57% of area affected. So it was a reduction, which is a good thing for the company's business. During the process, the company entered into the lease rental agreement. So the process of the lease rental is that, as I've said, that the land is under the custodianship of the forestry department. All companies have to enter into a long-term lease with the department where they pay annual rental. So with Safcol, the lease has just been concluded in this previous financial year, as the company was using the letters of delegation that were granted by the Minister of Forestry at that time. In this process, the company is taking the opportunity of the land reform process to promote participation of land beneficiaries in the sector and in the value chain, and also in the wood processing business. Furthermore, Safcol ensures that there's a contribution that the company makes in the transformation of the forestry sector by integrating the communities to the value chain using two different models, which is the proactive community engagement model, which is currently before the land is being settled or transferred to communities, and the business model for the land claims. Slide 4 level. Thank you. As I've said earlier, that the land settlement process is under the custodianship of the Land Reform and Rural Development. The process is being seen as a challenge in the company because Safcol's land hasn't been settled after this so many years that I've said earlier. It was 2008 when the process was verified. And this is having a negative impact on the relationship that Safcol has with communities. It's in that process where the DPE and the forestry department are working together to ensure that Safcol is not negatively affected by monitoring relationships and engaging with communities via the Department of Forestry. As mentioned earlier, that Safcol, while trying to maintain that relationship with the communities, they are using the proactive community engagement model that ensures that there is a relationship and continuous engagement between the company, the business, and not just the land claim communities, but also surrounding communities. Next slide. Next slide level. The department, during the process between 2010 to about 2015, the department had advised and proposed Safcol to look at the two options of the lease settlement models. The first option is what the forestry industry was using at that time, which is a long-term lease long-term lease process where government transfers the land rights to the owners, and the company continues using the land in terms of owning the trees, while owning the trees, processing and partnering with the communities. This process is a long-term, 70-year long-term process where the first rotation, it's 70 years based on the product that Safcol is mainly using, which is the softwood product, which is a long-term rotation. There are other companies are using other rotations, which is a short-term, which is half of the 70 years. So in this period, the first rotation, what Safcol does is that it pays rentals to the Department of Forestry. Once the land is settled, that money is transferred then to the land claimants. Option number 2 is the strategic partnership model. Why did this option be be introduced is that it benefits not just the company, but it benefits the communities. As at that moment, when the company the communities or the claimants participate in the value chain of the business. So Safcol in their model, they've integrated the two models, which is called, next slide, which is called the partnership model, where they ensure that there is commercial sustainability as required by the founding legislation of the company, which is the Management of the State Forest Act, that they should ensure that state assets are sustainably managed with fully rotation, fully managed, and ensuring that there is environmental issues taken care of, community issues and economic value taken care of. It is at that point when the Safcol looks at what economic activities can the company, can the communities or claimants benefit. Then the company goes and say that we have social compact. In the social compact, what are the needs of these communities as the landowners, as the lease partners? What is it that they need? How can they, whether they need training, then Safcol facilitate. If they need access to business, Safcol assist and guide. Also, these companies ensure, Safcol ensures that these communities participate in the company's supply chain and procurement, where they become contractors or suppliers of any other products that the company would need and would have agreed with this business. So this is the one that is mostly currently being used as the company is waiting for the process to be concluded. Next slide. This slide shows the status of the land claims. We've got Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and KZN, as I've said, it's total 246. There is, however, as you look at the bottom pie chart, there's only one out of the 15, out of those 46, there's one that has been transferred to communities. The transfer, it was in the previous financial year, it's in Zanen, the Mama Hlola, and the 4 is the one that has been finalized. However, on that 4, only that one was transferred. The other ones, it's also in Limpopo and Tabeni. There haven't been any transfers to date. This process has been, the settlement model has been signed by the ministers. So the process is now in the direction or guidance that we'll get from the Department of Land Reform. So this delay of the process that is being negotiated and being in research is solely under the Department of Forestry. Next slide, please. This is just as a explanation of what was just explained before. Progress. As I've said earlier, that the company is implementing the proactive community engagement model. Here, the company ensures that there is investment in the CSI contribution and the ESDs and further partnership with the 5 claimants. I think this section Safcol will cover when they do their presentation, because it's highly explained in their presentation. And on the post-settlement business model, the claimants are participating in the value chain, not just within Safcol, but within the forestry sector, where there are opportunities, Safcol will then introduce and guide them. And then the DPE, what we do as the department is that we ensure that we monitor Safcol's lease rental payment and project execution, as mentioned earlier, that the company has entered into shareholder social compacts with communities. So the department monitors those projects and see if Safcol is benefiting the communities surrounding their plantations. That's all from me, DM and Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Kineilwe. I think at this point, we should invite then the chairperson, Rempo Makwana, to take the stage and introduce his team, and then take us through the presentation of Safcol. Ndate, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable members. Good morning to you, Honorable Chair, Honorable members. Good morning to you, Honorable Deputy Minister. Chair, we thank you for this opportunity for Safcol to share our thoughts on this very important subject. We always welcome the invitation to come before this committee to come and report back and possibly also account on what we have been engaged with as a state-owned entity. I'm joined this morning, Honorable Chair, by members of the board as well. I'm joined this morning by the member of the board, Advocate Malema. I'm also joined by Advocate Mokhatle. I'm also joined by Ndade Bolton, and then of course by the CEO, Ndade Munaheng, the CFO, Ndade Human. We've got our company secretary and other Safcol executives with us. Without much ado, Honorable Chair, with your permission, I would like to invite our CEO, Ndade Munaheng, to take you through the very short set of slides that we've prepared in preparation for this morning's engagements. Over to you, Khawan.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Deputy Minister, and honorable members of the board, and colleagues from the department. The presentation will dovetail, Chair, with the previous one because it's the same presentation. But I'll try and...
Khawan, if we can just zoom to full screen because it's not properly
It's not visible. It's been shared from the department. Maybe I can share from my side.
Maybe no, it's visible. It just needs to be put on full screen mode.
Full screen. Are you going to do it? Okay, yeah. Is it visible? Or I can share from my side.
It's visible, but it needs to be put on full screen so that one slide occupies a screen.
I think it's got a PDF version, Chair. Maybe that's why.
No, I only have the PDF version. Can the Secretariat perhaps quickly make you the co-host? Otherwise, it's very difficult to navigate PDF. Sorry about that, Chair.
It's fine. You can go ahead and share on your side.
I don't know whether it's visible.
Yes, CEO, just on full screen.
How much will you require for this presentation? How much time?
It should take me about, I would say, maximum 20 minutes.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I
think it's fine. We can live with this if you are struggling to give us the full screen.
Yes, it seems I can't then get back to...
We understand that you deal with forest there. You don't deal.
Chair, I'm trying to share from my side, but sharing, then I've been kicked out of
we see the presentation, CEO. You can proceed.
Pardon, Chair?
We can see the presentation.
Okay, I can talk through it.
Yes,
I can
please
talk through
proceed.
it, Chair, quickly.
Yeah.
Second slide talks to the mandates, and we have the plantation forests that we work on. We have the timber processing, we have the ecotourism that we are responsible to manage on behalf of state. Chair, I would like to quickly talk about the plantation part of it, which is how do we interface with communities, which is pre-settlement and post-settlement of land claims. We lease the land that we operate on. We don't own the land, we lease and pay the rentals. Whether the land has been successfully claimed or it's not yet completed, the process is not completed, we pay the lease rentals. If it's not completed, we pay it to the Department of Forestry. If it's concluded, we pay the lease rental directly to the land claimants. We have agroforestry projects, quite a number of them, jointly with communities. And we involve communities in the supply chain opportunities in the forestry part. We have opportunities in skills development where we train the people, whether it's young people or working people around the communities. We have enterprise and supplier development initiatives where we train the communities for them to be able to participate in the forestry activities. That's including being contracted to do maintenance of the forest as we see it today. And the timber processing, we interface with communities on the supply chain opportunities and also at strategic partnership level. So we're working towards making sure that the communities benefit from the processing of timber, which is where the high value is not in the forest itself. And the last part of our business is the ecotourism, where we interface with communities at the strategic partnership level, where we partner with communities for them to participate in selling their wares at the tourist sites. And we look beyond that to say they should be able to do more than just selling their products around our ecotourism sites. And in terms of the strategic role, I think what's important for us is to ensure that we create value for the shareholder, that all stakeholders benefit from the success of Safcol. And we also have to ensure that there's economic development, especially amongst the communities where we have our operations. That is critical for us. And quickly talking about our strategy, it's we had to stabilize the business so that we can be able to create more value for all stakeholders and grow the business. And I must say that we are successfully doing that. We just have to ensure that our diversified revenue opportunities are being implemented so that we can have diversified revenue streams and not depend mostly on the logs, and have the high value items being the bigger part of the 50% of the revenue. And Safcol, we have the entity Safcol with its subsidiaries, but we also, because I think last year the question was whether Safcol participates in the other provinces. we have where we hold minority shares in the other provinces. And these companies are not owned by Safcol. They used to be part of Safcol, but they were privatized some years ago, around 2002. But we still hold shares for communities. We hold shares in Amatole, 16% in Amatole and 16% in Siyatrubeka. Amatole is in the Eastern Cape. And Siyatrubeka is in Northern KZN. Eastern Cape as well, we have Singisi, where we hold in 10.49% on behalf of communities. And in the Western Cape, which is from Stellenbosch through George to Tsitsikamma, we hold in 11.3%. And we are working towards transferring these shares to the rightful owners of this of the shares. And this process as well, to identify the rightful beneficiaries, is a land commission process. I thought, Chair, that I should quickly touch on how we impact the environment, the people, and the governance part of the business. For us to have the forestry business successfully benefiting the communities going into the future, that is sustainably managing the forests, we ensure that we are fully certified for FSC, and that means that's a way of us checking whether we are performing as expected in terms of sustainability. And I must say, Chair, that we are successfully doing that. We are currently sitting on the 25th year of certification, which gives Safcol the oldest company in the African continent to achieve that milestone. So we are managing the forest sustainably so that the next generations, they can find them in a good place. That's why we are talking to the Department of Forestry, Chair, that would like to manage the forests that are in the management of the department so that we can increase that value that comes of forestry for the benefit of the broader communities. In terms of land claims, we have managed to sign 13 social compacts with communities, and we signed 2 MOUs, one with the Mamatlola community and one with the Greater Zanin. And with Mamatlola, we now have a lease agreement where we are paying rentals because they have successfully claimed their land. And the broader communities, which includes at times the land claimants, we have a lot of CSI projects. This past financial year, we spent 5 million on CSI projects. And we spent more than 75 million rands on enterprise supplier development. And we have quite a number of agroforestry projects that we do for food security in the communities. And these projects are sustainable so that we can cover a broader community. We have created jobs in the communities that are sustainable. And we have also contracted with the community-based companies where they are able to employ people sustainably. And this past financial years, 1,693 jobs were created, and they are sustained because they are working year on year. They have multi-year contracts with us. Quickly, Chair, I thought I should just share this slide because this slide talks to the communities, because we said communities will benefit from downstream beneficiation of the forestry products. We're working with CSIR, we have identified quite a number of products that would come out of the trees. And in these projects, we want to make sure that the communities are partners, whether with Safcol or with the investors, so that communities can start participating in the economy meaningfully. This slide, Chair, talks to where we operate. We operate in Limpopo, Mpumalanga and Northern KZN, and in Manica in Mozambique and Sofala. As Kinelo did mention earlier, that we have about 57% of the area that we are working on is under claim. So it's a big percentage of the business. So that's why it's in our interest that we fast track the conclusion on the land claims so that the 57% becomes certainty, because at the moment it's a bit uncertain. We want certainty so that we know exactly how are we working with the successful land claimants or the communities for the benefit of the broader stakeholder family. And I think my colleague Kinelo has spoken about these items here. I won't go through them. And the settlement model as well, I think Kinelo has spoken through it. We want to focus on both the pre-settlement and the post-settlement so that we don't wait until the claim is concluded and only then we start engaging communities. We partner with communities before the settlement or the claim is completed. Whether they are going to be successful claimants or not, the fact remains that they are communities that we work with because they are neighboring our operations. So it's important that we partner with them, whether they're just communities or they are land claimants. And post the claim, then we have ways of partnering with them. That includes the leasing of the land, paying them rentals, market-related rentals, making sure that they are getting first preference in terms of contracts that we require at the plantations. We also make sure that the beneficiation, they are considered as communities. So we train them in terms of business management so that they can come in and participate meaningfully in the business. And the partnerships that we have with communities, they include the Mamahlole, as I said, they successfully got or managed to get the claim resolved and settled. So we are contracting or leasing the land from them, we pay them rentals, but we are partnering as well with them on commercial activities so that they continue to benefit beyond just leasing the land. The Entabeni land claimants as well, we are partnering with them. The settlement is we are waiting for the final settlement of this claim, but it's almost there, and we're hoping that we can grow because there's quite a number of projects we are working on with the Entabeni land claimants. Greater Tzaneen, we have a MOU with them. We have agreed on projects that we are going to work on. And as well, if they are successful in the claim, we are going to, in principle, we have agreed that we'll lease the land from them and continue the forestry operations, because destroying the forestry operations means that the industry in the country is going to run short of timber, and we have to be able to continue to contribute to the broader economic activities from the forestry side. The Makubu as well, we have agreements with them to continue partnering for food security and opportunities in strategic projects. Kapse Hope as well, we have a project that we are working with the community there, and DFFE is already leading this as a pilot project to say how can the post-settlement be managed best. So this model coming out of Kapse Hope, or the successful implementation of the model, there will be implemented or replicated in other areas. So we are working closely with the department on this project. I think this one, Chair and members, it's just to talk to the our participation or forward-looking participation in the DFFE plantations. We would like to participate in management of the currently owned or managed plantations that are currently managed by DFFE, because they have been deteriorating for over years and they're at a point where they are not productive to benefit the communities. So we are talking to communities to say, can we partner with yourselves and lease the plantations from the department so that there's better economic benefit from these plantations, because currently they're not productive, they're not commercially active. So these plantations are around Bushbuck Ridge, and these are the plantations we are focusing on. And because they are neighboring our plantations, if they are not managed well, they impact us in terms of timber theft. So we have to ensure that we partner with communities on these plantations so that we manage them and the communities can understand the importance of managing the plantations well and their contribution to the economy and livelihoods of the people. This is just a map that shows the same plantations. This is around Bushbuck Ridge and closer to the big community in Mpumalanga. And this talks to our journey in collaboration with the department and Department of Forestry and Department of Rural Development on getting to take over and manage these plantations in Mpumalanga jointly with the communities, both land claimants and just communities, so that we can start realizing benefit out of that plantation or those plantations. And the key issues that we think we should be, apart from our pre-settlement and post-settlement model, we have to make sure that we take our communities along. So there are a few considerations that we have, that the type of the status of the land claims, so that we know what to do when, because if it's just land claims or if it's just communities, the approach might be slightly different from the land claimants. Because if they are land claimants and they're successful, that means they take ownership of the land, then we partner with them as the landowners or the landlords. And how we manage, whether we lease or we partner, strategically partner with them, with the communities or the land claimants, and the appropriate model, because models can differ from community to community, from land claimants to land claimants. So we have to have the appropriate model for a specific, for a particular community. And obviously we have to make sure that the employees, if we take the Mpumalanga plantations from DFFE, there are employees there that we have to take into account. We have identified as a company quite a number of opportunities that will take the company to the next level. But we say in this slide that the communities are an integral part of our forward looking. We want to make sure that the communities are part of the success of Safcol. As Safcol grows, the communities should be there to participate and benefit. We want to take the yield out of trees from the 50% yield to 95%. And the communities must come in to participate in this journey where they are partnering with Safcol. And for us to ensure that we are participating in the reversal of climate change, we believe that communities play an important role, and we are going to engage them in the afforestation and reforestation of areas or areas in the communities. Some of the communities have successfully claimed, but we want to partner with them so that we can reforest or replant the plantations. We have challenges, but we believe that these challenges are within our reach. If we collaborate well, we can finalize the land claims so that the communities can be happy and we can continue to creating value for all stakeholders. And in terms of Safcol way forward, as well, for the success of Safcol, we cannot achieve that success unless we partner with communities. So communities are key to the success of Safcol. So we believe that we have to create a compelling value proposition in partnering with communities, with land claimants, for the good of them as land claimants, the wider communities, the industry, the forest industry, because the forest industry, for it to succeed, Safcol must be successful and also contribute to the economy of the country. Honorable Chair and members, I've come to the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and members, Honorable Deputy Minister. That concludes our Safcol presentation. We would then like to hand back to the House. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson, for that presentation and also for keeping time. I think it's quite very clear. We welcome this presentation, and I'm now going to give an opportunity to the members to engage with both presentations simultaneously. Honorable members, here are the two presentations, but they talk to one issue, as it were. So they may be different. The other one, I think, was more giving context to the Safcol matters, and the other one was more detailed focus on the core business and the things that are related to these land claims and how far the process is and how they intend to engage communities and all other stakeholders. The detail is in front of you. I will now recognize the hands. I have the hand of the Honorable Bibi. Honorable Arnolds, Honorable Nana, in that order, honorable members. We'll start with you, Honorable Bibi. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. You will pardon me, Chairperson, there's a load shedding this side. I won't show my video. At the same time, I've got a terrible flu, Chairperson, but nevertheless, doesn't matter. Ishawa khona injalo.
Uvakala ngathi umnenqile. Awubethe ke kodwa mama.
Ngihlezi ngezimpulu sasekhaya. Ngiyabheda.
Kuhle mama. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings to you and greetings to the DM Absentia and also to the officials and also to the leadership. Thanks very much for the presentation, which was detailed. I've got two questions, Chairperson. The first one is on several occasions, Chairperson, when the department engaged the committee, part of Safcol strategy and beneficiation, something that will sorry about that, enable Safcol to create more jobs and expand the value chain market. Now, you haven't said anything about it today. Do you still believe it's viable strategy for Safcol or not anymore? And my second question, Chairperson, will be, sorry about that. 2 weeks back, the committee engaged the Auditor General about its audit findings on SOEs. And it was brought to our attention that did not comply with the PFMA as far as consequences management is concerned, as you did not institute any disciplinary hearings for those officials who were responsible for irregular and wasteful expenditure. Can you explain why didn't you do that? Thank you, Chairperson. So those are my 2 questions. Thank you very much.
No, siyabonga mama, sikunqwenela ukuthi uphile ngokukhawuleza, siyakuva ukuthi ubambekile ngomkhuhlane. Kodwa siyabonga ukuthi uthathe ithuba lokuba umsebenzi wesizwe naxa ungaphilanga ube khona, ube ngaphambili. Lula.
Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, we now give the opportunity to the Honorable Arnolds.
Thank you, Chairperson, and greetings to the Deputy Minister, and then also to the delegation of Safcol, and then also to the departmental officials. Chairperson, yes, since the last engagement that we had with Safcol, there is no progress in terms of the land claims transfers, but we all know that that is out of the hands of Safcol. But let me just get into if maybe Safcol can give us an update in terms of how they are managing illegal activities and what is the impact on the operations. So if we can maybe just get an update on that. And then just in terms of clarity, the presenter has mentioned that there is 13 signed social compacts. So I just want clarity, because the last time when we met with the delegation of Safcol, there was 14 signed social compacts. So I just want to check now in terms of clarity, what is the correct number of social compacts signed. And then, Chairperson, it is good to hear that there is now progress in terms of community relationship between the entity and communities, because that is also now will assist and help Safcol to actually further impact those communities that is not only on those properties, but also communities around those forests, and then the impact also of that. So that is good to hear. But I think, Chairperson, the correct department that is supposed to deal with the land claims is not here. So I think we need to have a follow-up meeting in terms of to check, because it can't be that there is till date no progress in terms of the transfer of land claims. I think that is it for now, Chairperson.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Arnolds. I noticed that the Honorable Nana is raising a brown hand when all the other members are raising a gold hand. I don't know, maybe that's the interest he represents. Over to you, Honorable Nana.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Just for the record, the brown hand is the pigmentation of my skin. Secondly, please may I apologize for attending this meeting from my car. I normally take Parliament work very serious. I always prefer to be in an appropriate place. But unfortunately, as you know, we've got flight issues all around the country. I have just landed in Cape Town and the meeting had started, so I had to pull over before I could get to an appropriate place so that I could be attentive. But you can be assured, Chairman, I have tried to listen as much as I could. Firstly, I heard the presenter saying Safcol is the best on the African continent insofar as managing forests. Forests are concerned. Well, Chairman, that is quite encouraging to hear. And I suppose the same cannot be said about our other SOEs in the country. So, Mr. Board Chairperson, I haven't seen you in a while. I will be quite interested in your next annual report, and also your balance sheet. But all I'm saying, Chairman, is that at least those are encouraging signs. My first question is around the rent that is paid to the Department of Forestry, whilst Safcol is awaiting finalization of land claims. Tied to that are the shares that are held by Safcol on behalf of communities. The first part of the question: do communities, after a land claim has been settled, do get given back the rent that Safcol has been paying to the department retrospectively? And insofar as so I've spoken about the rent. Insofar as the shares are concerned, I heard Safcol mentioning a couple of provinces, including the Eastern Cape, that they are holding 11% for communities. In what form, and are communities ever paid that money? And if yes, in what form do they get paid the money? Are they paid in a form of community projects, or are communities given money to spend as and when they wish? And the third question will be on supplier development program. I heard Safcol mentioning impressive figures, monies that they have spent on supplier development programs. Now really, my question would be, is by supplier development program, do you mean business or business opportunities given to local suppliers so as to develop themselves, or it's programs such as training that seek to empower local entrepreneurs so as for them to run successful businesses? And the last one, Chairperson, is on what Honorable Arnolds have spoken to, and I must also harp on what he mentioned. I am pleased that Safcol is putting more emphasis on partnership with communities, so as to safeguard. So as to safeguard those resources. My question around that is how prevalent it is, or what is the situation in an event where there is a dispute, there is a land claim, and Safcol is managing the forest, and communities are unhappy with the process. How prevalent are losses to Safcol and the Department of Forestry? In other words, are there instances where communities are unhappy with the situation of land claims, and they decide to vandalize or disrupt production in our forests? Thank you very much, Chairman.
Asibonge Jolingomo, started to manje sinike umama Ungwenya. Mama Ungwenya.
Thanks very much, Chair, and good morning to everyone. Chair, I've got 4 questions. But before, Chair, I would like to thank you as Chairperson to give me the opportunity to participate to the meeting. Let me take this opportunity and welcome the presentation from the Department of Public Enterprise. Having listening to the presentation, I have the following question, Chairperson. On the basic option, which the Department of the Public Enterprise is proposing to Safcol, I want to check that are there any timeline in place to ensure that the investigation on the implementation of both options are finalized urgently? If yes, what is the plan to finalize those options urgently? Second question, Chair, what is the cause of the delay of the settlement of the land claim, and what has the department done to assist Safcol to overcome such challenge? On the third question, Chair, I wanted to check whether women, youth, and person with disability are part of the successful land claim, insofar as the number of the claims is concerned. Also, on the fourth question, Chair, I want to check whether the Department of the Public Enterprise and Safcol have any plan in place to engage with the community on post-settlement matters in order to assist them on how to achieve maximum economic value out of the forest and how the communities can continue to benefit from the partnership with Safcol. I thank you, Chairperson. That completes my question and inputs to the meeting. And I thank you for your understanding. I'll wait for the follow-up question after the answer to our question. Thanks, Chairperson.
No, thank you, Honorable Ngwenya. Thank you for those 4 questions. Thank you, honorable members. Just before I hand over to the chairperson of the board, I think I have also been broadly covered by you, honorable members, on the number of questions that you have raised. But I just want to check on the leases first and foremost. Are all the lease agreements directly with the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment? Or do you have a situation where in some of those lease agreements are with the institution of traditional leadership over communal land? And if that is the case, what would be the measurement of the specific pricing model which you would use, wherein you pay a communal lease agreement vis-a-vis the one that is under the stewardship of the department directly? And then secondly, which is also linked to that, you have spoken about the relationship that you have with the stakeholders. I just want to check if you do have direct engagement with the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa, for instance, Contra Lesa, because the issues of forestry, most of them, you will find that they are either within the communities under the jurisdiction of traditional leaders, or they are close or adjacent to those communities. The third question is in relation to the fact that the production of forestry, I want to check the percentage of what you export and what is used for local beneficiation, just to check if we don't have a situation of these byproducts of forestry going out of the country, the products, in fact, not even byproducts, the products going out of the country as raw material. So I would want to check if there is a balance, if that does occur. And then linked to that, in terms of the local beneficiation, you are a state-owned entity. I would love to have an understanding of your clientele now, whether you are having a clientele that is inclusive, given the history of business in this country, which is predominantly dominated, obviously, by those that were privileged by the apartheid system. Do we, since your establishment in 1992, find ourselves in a situation that Safcol is a transformed entity that ensures that its clientele is pretty much very inclusive of our communities? Because I do believe that we've got talent and skill out there. We have got people who make furniture from our own communities. I would want to have an understanding of to what extent have you reached out and ensured the inclusive participation of our people in the mainstream of your core business. That will be my 4 questions that I would put to you. Maybe, Chair, if you can also give us comfort that the health status of Safcol is on a very good trajectory, to the extent that we shouldn't be worried, given the alarm that is raised with regards to other entities that belong to the state. Is this institution in particular in a right space insofar as its finances going forward? You give us assurance that your 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, that is medium, long-term strategy, that this organization stands on the right path to growth and to sustainability and to profitability, as it were, to ensure that it plays a role in the triple challenges that confront our society at this juncture. Thank you very much, Chairperson. That would be my take on the presentation. Over to you now and your team to tackle all those questions.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Just to firstly put in perhaps a reminder or a refresher. The Safcol journey has been on a 3-year process of turning around the SOC. And this year at the AGM with the Department of Public Enterprises, I believe we became one of the SOCs to demonstrate that we've been restored to some semblance of normality. This year we declared a dividend of 1 million rands that we paid into the fiscus. And so that hopefully, Chair, does answer the question that you and other honorable members raised regarding the financial health and state and stability of Safcol. We believe we've embarked on a trajectory to ensure that the long-term financial sustainability of Safcol is on track. Equally, in the area of unauthorized irregular expenditure, we've also been on a cleanup journey, which I'm certain between the CEO and CFO they can talk to. So I believe there as well, when it comes to Safcol, there should be minimal issues that may perhaps keep members awake at night. You've rightfully pointed out that there's an overflow between some of the questions that you raised as honorable members, that perhaps overflow between the Department of Public Enterprises and the Department of Forestry. So that is outside our purview, and perhaps colleagues at DPE would be best suited to deal with those questions in terms of the interplay between the 2 departments. And I wonder whether we, with your permission, shouldn't ask DPE to clarify those policy interdepartmental matters first, so that then the CEO and team can deal with the typical managerial issues that Safcol is dealing with as per the questions raised. I wonder whether we shouldn't go that way, Chairperson. And if you permit, then may I ask colleagues from DPE to tackle all the governmental and intergovernmental questions, and then Dadamna, and you can follow after that. Do I refer to you?
You're granted, Chairperson. You have the authority. You are the chair.
Thank you. Colleagues from DPE, McNeilwe and others, would you like to deal with all the interdepartmental matters?
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning again, colleagues. I've just been made aware by Lebo that we have colleagues from DPE, DDG Magobe, who has joined us. So I'm not sure if DDG would like to take any question here. In the meantime, to just introduce Chairperson, we also have colleague from Department of Forestry who will assist us in the question of the contralesa and on the question of the lease rentals, that is the money going to communities. And I will take the question on the on the engagement or on the relationships between the departments and the delays in the progress. The department currently, as we've mentioned earlier, that the biggest challenge on the progress of lease rental is the Department of Land Reform. Therefore, we are unable to say why has the land claims not been settled since the last engagement with the committee. And also, I think the question was from Mengwenya that the finalization has taken too long. And if there are the causes of the delays, those causes, I think Mr. Arnold had said that it's best that the committee invites rural development. We do not know what are the challenges that they are mentioning now. And from the department side, what we are doing is we are engaging with them. We used to engage with them on a regular basis. However, now what is happening is that there is the other engagements, such as the implementation of the commercial forestry master plan, where the issue of land claims generally is being discussed. So it's one of the item lines for the short-term 3-year period where the forestry sector has requested that the issue of land claims be really looked at by the Department of Land Reform. So Mr. Nkosi from DEF will also assist me on that one. And the other one on the shares that the communities was from, and that Nana, it was saying that the shares from the minority shares that were highlighted by Safcol, are they in any form being paid to the communities? The shares that are held are the shares that were transferred to Safcol during the privatization of Safcol. They were initially 25% held by the government on behalf of both government and the communities. 9% was for employees, which was then transferred to employees. 10% was for communities and 6% was for the government. The reasons that they are now where they are at, reduced from 16% to now, it's mainly because of the issues that the companies required Safcol to ensure that they participate by cash injection to maintain the shares. That's why they reduced to where they are at today. And in terms of the other question, the one for the beneficiation of the land claims process by the women and people with disability and youth. we cannot separate the land claims process settlement to individuals. It's the community that lodges a claim, and therefore it benefits the entire categories of people, women, men, all the members of that community beneficiaries. And in terms of any plans to engage on the post-settlement, yes, we do engage. Like I've said earlier, we do engage with the department. However, this process is led by Forestry Department and the company that is operating on that land. Safcol has, as we've mentioned earlier, that Safcol has a model that they are using to ensure that they pay the lease to the company, they enter into a different agreement, pay the lease rental, and identify projects that will assist the communities in the process. I'm not sure if I was able to answer everything.
Thank you, Meknelo. You indicated there's a colleague from the Forestry Department. Are they able to add any perspectives from that department's perspective?
Thank you, Ndate. Through you, Chair. Simon, may you please respond to those questions? Babenkos, are you in? I'm not sure, Chair, but he said he's in the meeting, so I'm not sure why he's not talking.
Okay, perhaps in the interest of time, we will deal with the matters that directly relate to Safcol, CEO.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry?
Okay.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, and officials from Safcol and DPE. I'll answer the question regarding the lease rentals paid to the department by Safcol. If I'm correct, the question was that what happens to the lease rentals? Yes, the lease rentals are paid by Safcol are invested in an interest-bearing account, which is held by the Public Investment Corporation. It's kept there until such time land claims are settled. The question was that whether the rental is paid retrospective. Yes, it's paid retrospective from the time Safcol started paying the rentals. Safcol started paying the market-related rentals from 2012. So all the rentals that were paid from 2012 will be paid to the communities once the land claim is settled. Then going forward, as Safcol has indicated, they will enter into a direct relationship with the land claimants. Then they will start paying less market-related rental directly to the communities. And the land will be removed from the asset register of the department. Yes, yeah, that's my answer to the question of lease rentals. Yes, the issue of shares. The department is also collaborating with TPE on resolving the issue of paying of the release of shares, which are held by Safcol to the communities. But currently, the challenge we have, we're still in the process of identifying the communities who should be beneficiaries of those shares. The process has started in the identifying of those communities. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thanks, Ndatenkosi. Honorable Chair.
I don't know whether I answered all the questions.
Yes, I'm sure we'll be guided by the House, but from Safcol side, Ndate Mlaheng.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'll address the questions. If there's any of the questions that I missed, my colleagues will come in. I have the CFO is with me, and the COO is here as well. Chair and Honorable Chair, the first question from Honorable Bibi was whether Safcol is still working towards the strategy that includes beneficiation. And the answer is yes, our strategy still includes beneficiation, because we believe that for Safcol to grow, we have to beneficiate the timber. We cannot just work on raw material and expect growth out of the raw material. So we're working on the strategy that says that we are going to work towards increasing our plantable land so that we increase available raw material for Safcol and for the industry. And we also are going to process more timber so that we can get more out of the timber. And that strategy of beneficiation incorporates land claimants, communities, and transformation companies that would partner with. I must say, Chair, on Tuesday last week, we launched the first project at Sabi, where the company going to work with communities is going to build a plant to beneficiate timber in Sabi to re-establish. So we are working on 3 companies that are going to set up in that vicinity for beneficiation of timber, both for Safcol business and for private businesses under transformation, and for communities to benefit from the beneficiation. And then the question around consequence management, I think it came from a GSA report. It's referring to the irregular expenditure that Chair mentioned, that we have cut irregular expenditure to much less than 1 million as we speak now. But the historical irregular expenditure, we appointed a company to investigate, because we can't investigate ourselves. We appointed a company to investigate, and we have received the report from the company. That company is helping us to identify who were responsible for the irregular expenditure, and having identified those people and their recommendation that says there should be action taken, whether it's training, whether it's disciplinary process, but that process is underway now. We are just delayed by the company that was working on the verification of the irregular expenditure. But we are on track now. We should be able to conclude. But the other areas of consequence management, we have 100% implemented consequence management in other areas. It was only this one of irregular expenditure coming from prior years that was still behind. And then question from Honorable Arnold refers to progress on land claims, which was covered. And then the second question is, how are we managing the illegal activities in the plantations? We believe that just going into the plantations with a big gun will not help. So we believe that we are going to have a 2-pronged approach or 3-pronged approach. One is we are going to partner with industry, because illegality, whether it's timber theft or illegal mining, it affects everybody. So we partner with industry to approach it as an industry initiative. At the same time, we are partnering with the law enforcement agencies to ensure that we stop the activities. But the most important that we believe is key for us is which is sustainable, because you can stop people now by using force, but in the future they will still come back, because sometimes it's economic challenges. So the other option that we are looking into is partnership with communities, so that they benefit from the existence of the plantations around there, so that they understand that if the plantation is there, they are going to benefit economically and commercially. But if they don't benefit, then they don't see any need. So we partner with communities for them to benefit, so that they can help us protect the assets for sustainability, because their next generations should be able to benefit from the forestry activities. And then the other question, the last question from Honorable Arnolds was the signed social compacts, whether 14 or 13. Is 13, I think there must have been a miscommunication of 14 at some point, but we have 13 signed social compacts. And Honorable Nanat, the FSC certification, that makes us or informs us about us managing the asset sustainably, that we have been successfully getting certified positively for over 25 years. That says there's something good we are doing, and that we are the first company in Africa to achieve 25 years. That is successive every year without fail. We have maintained our certification. It means we are managing the state asset well. And the rental question was covered. I think I'll pass that one. And then supplier development. I think that area it's broad for us. When we talk of ESD, we talk of training future participants in the activities of the forestry. And we also train the current, which are the contracted, because we contract people at times, they don't have full experience of operating in this sector. So under transformation, we contract them and we train them, we take them along. In partnership with Mpumalanga University, we train them so that they can successfully execute their businesses with us. So a lot of our silviculture contractors, which is the biggest contract in terms of value, they are contracted to this sector, and it's mostly women. And in terms of training, we train across the board, but when we train for contracting, it's specific that we want the people to be, or the companies to be successful in operating in the forestry space. If they can't get, or they have exhausted contracts in Safcol, they should be able to go to other forestry companies and get contracted and execute their work successfully. And then the next question coming from Honorable Nana was around the prevalence, whether we are having some unhappiness coming from the communities. I must say that we haven't received any unhappiness coming from the communities. Instead, the communities are always calling on us to come in to partner with them. And I think it's because of the work that we have been doing over years with the communities. I think there's something good that we are doing in that space, that the communities are saying Safcol is our preferred partner. And we just have to continue and not being complicit, not rest and say we have arrived. So complacency will not be allowed in Safcol. So we are going to keep improving in how we work with communities. And then the Honorable Ngwenya, the options, I think DP addressed the options. And then the delays coming from the claims, I think that question was attended to. That is within rural development through Land Commission. And they have to assist us to fast track the conclusion of the land claims. And the question from Honorable Chair, that are all the lease agreements with the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, all the agreements are with the department, except for Mamahlola, where we are contracting directly because they were successful land claimants. But otherwise, the others we are contracting with the DFFE. And the question of payment of rentals, I think, has been attended to. And I think the other question was the export of raw materials. We don't export raw materials. we supply raw materials to the South African industry. We process some of it, but at a very low value. But most of the product comes from the plantations. We sell to the industry. And we always emphasize that this is for local processing, so that we export products. We don't export logs. And in terms of clients, the other question was our clients in terms of the transformation of our customer base or our clientele. Historically, the industry was untransformed, but we are currently moving towards ensuring that we have processing that's transformed in the country. So under our transformation projects, we are supporting development of processing companies, sawmills that are transformed, and we are going to support them. And we give them multi-year contracts in terms of supply, because for them to go and raise funding, they would need a multi-year supply contract. So we give them multi-year contracts, and we relax their payment terms so that they are able to start their businesses. But the big businesses, they are historical, and we are slowly moving in terms of new entrants, which are more transformed. And then in terms of sustainability, as the chair mentioned, that we believe that we are now on the path of growth, and this growth will be sustainable. And it will only be sustainable if we beneficiate more. That's why beneficiation is still at the heart of our strategy. And in terms of governance, we have improved. We're at the point where we are comfortable that the company is being managed well. And in terms of people, we believe that we have knowledgeable people in the management of forestry. We have to create skill or competencies around high value products, because that's where we are moving. So for sustainability, we have to develop skills around those lines. And then in terms of, do we have enough products to sustain us? We don't have enough if we want to become a multi-billion brands company. We don't have enough plantable land. So that's where I think we are talking to the Department of Forest to say, would like to have more plantable land so that we can have enough raw material for the industry and for Safcol. And we are also talking to municipalities so that we can manage those assets, so that we have enough available raw material for Safcol and for the industry. Chair, I've tried to answer. If there are questions that I haven't been able to touch, I think my colleagues can come in. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Honorable Chair and honorable members, we hope that we have answered the questions satisfactorily. We also would hope that we've left you feeling a bit more confident that in Safcol you've got a different SOC that hopefully is on a trajectory of sustainable financial growth and development. With that, I hand over to you, Chair.
No, thank you so much, Chairperson. And we also appreciate the amount of responses which we have received. And I know that these matters are not exhaustive, and this engagement is not the last engagement, and we will continue. But I think that what we have been given today suffices for us, to consume and digest, so that the next time around we interact, we can get an update of how far you have gone. I think on behalf of the members of this committee, we would like to encourage you to continue to do the good work and improve so that this company can be strengthened, can be enriched to the extent that it indeed becomes one of the major contributors into the gross domestic product, and ensure that in the final analysis, we have a healthy national revenue fund for all intents and purposes, for the betterment of the lives of our people. This is one of the most strategic companies in the ecosystem of our country. Forestry plays a significant role, not just in nature, but also just our healthy environment. And therefore, we wish to say break a leg and ensure that it becomes what it is expected of it in the final analysis. It must be one of the good examples that we look up to in terms of what is expected. These SOEs are very critical, not as a shelter employment organization, but as organizations that are levers of our economy, to make our economy work, to make our economy to be an example of a well-managed instrument, which will transform this country to become one of the major economies in Africa and a springboard to the entire continent of Africa. And therefore, we wish you all the best. And I think at this point, we have to really express our deep felt gratitude that you may continue to do this kind of work. And at the same time, we wish to equally thank the Department of Public Enterprises for exercising oversight as an executive authority over Safcol, and thank them as well for coming here. We thank the DM in absentia, having opened your presentation here with a political overview. The members, zithi siyabulela kakhulu, yalebucha, niyibambe kanjalo, nisebenzele isizwe. Thank you so much. Go back to your desk. We're not releasing you to go home. Go back to the office and do what you're expected to do. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you. Thank you to your entire team. We will now release you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. Once upon a time, I was doing work in the Eastern Cape parts of our land. And I landed at a small town called Mthatha. And on an occasion like this, they said, Masiti thank. So now Magenditi thank.
Okay, so come on, that impossible. Come on. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Members, we will now allow them to leave, and then so that we can continue with our business. You, Mamungwenya, you wanted to say something before they leave?
Thanks, Chair. No, seyikhulumile inkosi kwanele. Ngililisekile.
Yeah. Hayi ubangaba ke idikhona eminye imicimbi. I do not think that when we engage at this level, we can always send anything else that we wish to forward to them, so that they may consider, and it will be indeed part of the record of what we want to put to them for consideration. Because I often think as well that sometimes when we engage with these entities, it should not only just end in us asking the questions, the hard questions and questions of clarity. Actually, we should also assist by coming up with suggestions and proposals which could offer solutions to some of the challenges. And I think that is partly one of our roles as leaders, to provide guidance by coming up with progressive and creative proposals to come up with solutions to the challenges that confront these entities. Andazi noba siyavana naMamungwenya ndiyonqena ithi kanti ndikubethe emlonyeni ithi kanti ibisekhona into obunqwenela uba uyiphakamise kubo andikuvalelanga ngapha.
No, ndanele sana inkosi.
Okay, no, ndiyabulela. I hope that they have now left the meeting so that we can then look into the second item on our agenda, which is the minutes of the previous meeting. Secretariat, maybe if you can help, I know that you had shared these minutes of the meeting, and I hope that the members have found time to go through the minutes. But just for the purposes of ensuring that all members are kept on par, can you share the minutes here? Honorable members, here are the minutes of the meeting last week, Wednesday, 2nd November. That's when we had an engagement with the post office. Here are the attendees. And indeed, we're receiving a briefing from the post office. Carry on. And indeed, that delegation was led by the Deputy Minister, the CEO of the Post Office.
Chairperson?
Yellow?
It's Member Arnold here.
Yebo member.
Can the Secretariat just confirm in terms of my attendance in the meeting?
Yeah, that's why I wanted it to be beamed there. Because indeed you are absent in terms of this.
Yeah, it's like my name has been erased from the committee. I'm nowhere there.
Can the members, the Secretariat, make sure that is rectified? Please
Apologies,
do.
Mr. Arnold,
Okay.
I will rectify it.
Yeah, I think I can see your row is there, but your name is not there. Maybe it's there, but not visible.
Nina's minutes, sorry, I missed the date.
2nd November. You were absent, Cholingom. Please make sure that the spelling mistakes are attended to, because I see the spelling mistake of the Honorable Nana there. You have spelled it in Arabic on the first paragraph of opening and welcome. No, not there. It's correct there on the attendance register, but on opening and welcome, it's spelled in Arabic. Go down, just those are things that you can always correct afterwards. Members, you must have gone through these minutes. I went through them as well, and I think we should be asking for a member who would then move for the adoption of the members, unless the members had picked up any incorrect capturing of the.
Thanks, Chair. Without wasting time, I would like to adopt the minutes with the correction. Thank you.
Mamungwenya is moving for the adoption of these minutes. Do we have a seconder?
Okay, second. Oh, second. Okay. Thank you.
Mamupi B is seconding the adoption. Oh, Memo Dise, you're still a member of this committee. Okay. Memo Dise.
Don't come with this thing. Bye-bye.
Memo Dise is seconding the adoption of the minutes. Thanks, Memo Dise. Honorable members, I think we have now come to the end of this meeting. Last week we had a different intake from the South African Post Office. and the issues that are arising from that entity, which are painting a very bleak picture. And today, we had this very good story, if I may put it that way, because I think the story of Safcol is a promising one. And I think it is one of the instruments that can actually be exemplary of how to turn around a state institution. From my side, I think I'm quite very confident that they will be doing a very good job. The situation of Safcol is totally different from that one of the South African Post Office. This situation that week we had a negativity and this week we have a positivity. It means then that we really have to put our hands on the deck and ensure that we play our role in a very critical and strategic way in ensuring that our way of exercising oversight is truly meant to actually help the entire state to turn around so that it can work optimally, so that we are able to actually impact positively to the lives of our people, because we are here, and I think as leadership, we exist purely to ensure that the interests of the people are placed at the center of what we are expected to do. Having said that, honorable members, I thank you really for your constructive and robust deliberations and engagement in ensuring that we enrich this and sharpen the executive, as well as the entities that report to the executive, to do their work efficiently and effectively. I therefore wish to thank you for coming today. And I know many people say that you cannot thank a fish for swimming because it is born to swim. But be that as it may, you are Africans. We have to say thank you, even though that is the case. May you have a wonderful day. And we see you at plenary at 2 p.m. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
Thanks very much, Chair. And goes.
Come on.
Inkosi, Chair. Inkosi, mhlala phambili.
Recording stopped.